In FinOps, you cannot implement right sizing or governance without automation. You cannot do it manually. You need automation and code to be able to make it happen automatically and scale. And today I'm going to show you an open source tool that you can use to be able to control your resources, to be able to right size them automatically and control them. And I'm going to do a full demo how to deploy it in your laptop and how to control your cloud resources from there with a simple deployment from Terraform. But first, I'm going to explain you why this is a problem. So we've talked a lot about automation in multiple podcasts and interviews, but basically the idea is that using ClickOps or using manual right sizing in cloud doesn't work. And you're not able to scale your FinOps practice with manual things and stuff like that. So right sizing and governance need automation to work, and especially because you shouldn't be doing those things manually. You should automate that so you can focus on better things such as strategy and things like that. And for doing that, you need either to develop your own scripts or be able to leverage tools to help you do it automatically. You can leverage the cloud providers, a third-party tool, and today I'm going to show you an open source option that I found today. So the whole idea should be to embed FinOps in your software development lifecycle and in your DevOps pipelines somehow. So you should be able to automate the process. So whenever someone deploys or before, especially if you can prevent that, you are able to correct those things and control your resources and prevent those for deployment or right size out if the deployment has already happened. But how do you implement all these automations that I've been talking to control and to right size your resources? So I'm going to use today the sponsor of today's video, which is Kestra.io. Kestra is an open source orchestration platform for data, AI, and infrastructure workflows. Today we are going to focus more on the infrastructure side. You can check the GitHub in the description below because it's a super complete tool, and you have all the information here about what it is and the key features and how to launch it, whether if you are using AWS, Google Cloud, or today we are going to use Docker Compose because you can check it from your laptop. And I'm going to use one of their main features, which are the blueprints. I've been always a fan of blueprints for deployment. I come from a DevOps background, so having a template that uses YAML or Terraform. In this case, they are using YAML to deploy their blueprints. So they have pre-constructed workflows that you can already apply. And you have a lot of components and plugins that you can design your automations or your blueprints with, and then your team can reuse it, which is pretty useful, and manage everything through the Kestra UI that you can deploy with a simple Docker Compose. And the blueprint that we are going to be using today is the Azure Batch cost guardrail with storage lifecycle cleanup. So basically checking the Azure Batch pulls hourly. We are going to make it a bit faster so that the demo is quickly made, and to be able to do the cleanup if the nodes are idle. So it's going to be an interesting demo, and we are going to do everything using Terraform and using Docker Compose. So if you are ready, let's go to it. So the first thing that we are going to do is deploy our Docker Compose for Kestra. So it's a very simple thing. You can use it from their quick start, and basically you can use the command. I use a definition here in Docker Compose where you have all the information. I have configured the .env file that I cannot show you, but basically a simple configuration for my environment and a volume to store my information. So with a quick command of Docker Compose, we are going to be able to use it. So we are going to go to the right folder, and then we are going to do Docker Compose apt-d. It will pull the information, but in my case, the images are already locally. So those are already there. And as you can see, we have it in port 8081. So let's go to port 8081. Where you can put an email and the password for the local user. I have everything filled out because I've been preparing this for you guys. Then we are going to use flag it for Presence project and infrastructure automation. And we can already start the Kestra UI. Here's the UI that you can see, where you can see, the dashboards of your executions, and then the flows, which is what we are going to be using. Here you have some examples. And we are going to go directly to the blueprint. So here are the flow blueprints. As I mentioned, you can see all the information that I showed in the online version, but in this case, let's go to the flow blueprints, and I'm going to check for FinOps, and let's use this one. Okay, so this is the Azure Batch cost guardrail that we've been mentioning, and I'm going to save it. And the moment that I save it, I have it in my flows. Okay, and this has an hourly trigger. But I can also execute it manually. So, and you can edit directly from here, which is pretty nice because basically I've done a modification to this template to be able to execute it faster without so many secrets, because in this case, I'm going to use a demo deployment. So first things first, let's go to our adapted template, and we can paste it here and save it. Okay, so everything is ready, and we will leverage our variables. So here is checking everything. The only thing that we'll need to pass is our primary access for the batch account. But here is basically doing the pull metric and to review our batch accounts, and then it's going to take a decision to scale it or not based on the metrics, and then it's going to purge all our call blobs to be able to save our money. And then here we have the schedule, which is a cron job that you can adjust to your preference. Okay, but first we need to deploy something, because otherwise we won't be able to clean up everything. So I am going to deploy my deployment, which is basically a sample Azure blob account with some pool that we can test. So we are going to do tofu plan. So I'm using OpenTofu for deploying this. And that's it. I'm going to deploy it on Azure as I mentioned. Here's the plan. So as you can see here, the storage account, the resource group, the batch pool, and the batch account. So we are going to say tofu apply. Yes. And we'll wait a bit till we have the deployment ready. So now, as you can see, the deployment is ready and we have everything here. Let's go and check Azure portal. So now if we go to the Azure portal, we basically see the batch account and we can see our pools with 2 dedicated nodes that we are going to be right-sizing in a bit. So now the next thing that we need to do is to go to Kestra and run our flow manually with the outputs that our OpenTofu has run and be able to run the proper metrics. So we go to our flows and then we are going to go to execute. And as you can see, I have all the variables, the inputs per field with the information because I already have this prepared for you guys. Here's the metrics window that is going to check how much time the thing has been idle. And the only thing that I need to put is the batch primary access. So I'm going to quickly go to this and then I'm going to do tofu output.ch. And then here I have the batch key. I don't mind because that's going to be deleted in a bit. And then I change here. And that's it. You can also change it in the template and then you won't be able to run it. And here it starts with the Gantt information with all the flows, all the tasks running sequentially. So basically first it pulled the query metric and then you can see it did it correctly. And then it's going to take the scale decision and the resize pool. It will take a bit for it to showcase the changes. And then here you can see the logs, for example, and then the topology of the flow. That is what shows in the blueprint template. So yeah, it's going to show the outputs and everything. The evaluation result here, it shows to true. So basically the resize pool is going to happen. And then if we go to our Azure and then we refresh, you can see here that it changed to 0. So it's going to be resizing automatically. So that's how you make it happen. You know, that this is going to, I run it. If you see here, the trigger will be on a schedule. It will be hourly run. So basically you don't need to worry about checking your idling resources manually and seeing if someone has done anything. You can clean up automatically the system, and you can play with the plugins and with all the information you have. AWS Fast, S3, etc., and a lot of plugins that you can use to be able to implement that, and you can quickly design that using YAML. I basically recommend giving it a try, especially because it's a free tool. It doesn't cost me anything to run this thing, and especially we are going to destroy the deployment right after we finish the demo, so there is no problem also on Azure. And also basically there has some enterprise things, such as you can see more features such as upgrading your secrets management. But here I've already defined the secrets using the .env information with base 64. And so you can handle everything through Docker to set up the secrets. But some features are to manage it from the UI, it will be using the Enterprise Edition. So we can see this is still running, and it's going to basically be running because the trigger is hourly, so it doesn't stop here. So we can leave it there. So after a while, the resizing has stopped and dedicated nodes are now 0. So as you can see, everything right sizes successfully. So that's the demo. Overall, I want to be able to showcase, the pros and cons of the tool. So my main pros is that if you have knowledge of DevOps or Docker, somehow it's super easy to set up. And the UI is pretty good actually for someone that has used, pipelines or things similar to it. Is super easy to set up. And having the blueprints are, it's key. And also that you can, create custom blueprints on the Enterprise Edition. It's crucial for your team to be able to reuse those templates. So if you have recurrent flows that you want your engineers to be able to set up, and you know that they are not the priority for them, but if you make them easy for the engineers to set up, they will set it up. So think of it like a platform engineering kind of system where you facilitate a lot the information, and also having the logs and everything in a centralized place is great. Plus the infrastructure as code. So infrastructure as code is one of my basics for FinOps since I started with the practice. Everything needs to be using code and reduce manual effort as much as possible. So you try to automate everything, and the only way for me to automate everything is through code and through tools like Kestra. And that's the main thing. Of course, it has some limitations on the community edition because after all, it's a enterprise product that you can acquire. So those are the main limitation, and it's a product that has other approaches. It's not a full FinOps tool, as you can see, but it's very versatile, which is good. And you may find this as a one-stop suite for your company. So I would recommend taking a look, because especially if you are a DevOps-oriented company, I would definitely implement it. And of course, the plugins are very useful. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the tool, and it was super easy to do a test with Terraform, Azure, and running the Kestra setup. So you can check all the information in their GitHub that I will leave in the description below. You can leave them a star so that you recognize their work, or join their Slack community and to chat more and know more about their work. And if you want to know the benefits of automation versus manual FinOps, we leave you this talk from Jill in one of our meetups in Madrid, where she dives deep into the needs and the reasons why this is needed. And that's all for today's video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.